Oh no, guys. It's the end of the world. I know it's going to scare you to hear this, but AOC has been a victim of Rule 34. Oh no. Stop the presses. And of course, you know what this means. She's going to turn around and start trying to strip men of their rights, their ability to Photoshop her face onto another woman's body.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is leading the charge to finally, at the government level, do something about the rapid rise of deepfakes. And it's a topic that she has talked about often in the past and seems to deeply care about, particularly because it is clear that she has often been a target of these.
Yeah, it affects her personally. So, of course, now it's a problem. Wasn't a problem before. And, and guess what? It's not something that actually hurts her career. She's getting her face photoshopped into a sex act. Doesn't hurt her career whatsoever. Oh no, it's the end of the world.
So she was profiled in Rolling Stone, and you can see the front page right here talking about these fake photos, real harm. And in it, she reveals an experience of coming across some of this AI-generated artwork, saying it was the end of February, and after spending most of the week in DC, she was looking forward to flying down to Orlando to see her mom after a work event. But everything left her mind once she saw the picture, a digitally altered image of someone forcing her to put her mouth on their genitals.
Oh no. She gave a fake BJ. It's over. Look, guys, you know yourselves, they'll do fakes to destroy a man's career. They'll take a male politician and pedo smear him with a Photoshop, right? And that does some real harm. The guy gets thrown out of office, ostracized, put behind bars. This isn't affecting her career whatsoever in a negative way. All it is she gets disgusted that some low status guy will be ogling her and fantasizing about her, which is his right to do. We're allowed to fantasize about whatever we like, whenever we like. And she's not getting her cut. That's what it is.
Adrenaline coursed through her, and her first thought was, quote, I need to get this off my screen. She closed out of it shaken. Quote, there's a shock to seeing images of yourself that someone could think are real.
Oh, no. I mean, that would destroy her reputation. AOC likes to have sex with men. That would be devastating, right? You know, we might be looking at nuclear devastation. You know, World War III might actually happen. I think we got more important things than AOC was insulted.
She talked also recently about being, I think it was in like a House hearing and being on Twitter and seeing people can just put these images in replies to your posts. And you can try to mute people, you can try to ban.
Okay, so someone was mocking her. Probably, here you are, here's you committing a sex act. Oh no. That's beyond the pale.
People, but Twitter is absolutely full of bots spreading this sort of stuff. And so it's a very real issue for celebrities, for politicians, for regular people too. And so she's experienced it, and now she's doing something about it. So she is leading the House version of the Disrupt Explicit Forged Images and Non-Consensual Edits.
Non-consensual edits. In other words, if this woman, if they came to her and said, here's a cut, guys have to pay money for this and you get a cut, she might go for it. It might be consensual then, right? It's the same old, same old. She's not getting her cut. And we all know that the Violence Against Women Act is an attack on men. That's what it actually is. That needs to be abolished.
Act of 2024, the Defiance Act of 2024. The legislation would expand the Violence Against Women Act to make it easier to sue and stop the non-consensual distribution of AI porn.
Exactly. It's not going to be there for men. If someone decides to mock a man by putting him in a fake sex act, he's just going to have to suck it up. This is more sexism.
And here's part of a statement accompanying the release of that, saying the Defiance Act will allow victims to finally defend their reputations and take civil action against individuals who produced, distributed, or received digital forgeries.
Again, this isn't necessarily attacking their reputations, though. Most of these are going to be what? Guys saying, I have a fetish for OAC or AOC or whatever you want to call her. And I just want an image to fantasize over. That's it. It has nothing to do with reputation.
I'm grateful to take this lead this legislation with Senator Dick Durbin, along with my Democratic and Republican colleagues in both
Democratic and Republican colleagues. Right. What I keep telling you guys, don't let people make this a left-right issue. Both the left and the right despise men and will attack our rights.
the House and the Senate. And so as this becomes easier for regular people to generate, as the technology gets more pervasive, as you can literally, like, there are bot farms, bot AI generating these things without even having a broken, sick troll leading the charge.
What are you talking about? Yourself? A broken sexual. So if a guy has a fantasy, sexual fantasy about a pretty girl like AOC, he's broken and sick. Dude, you fantasize about what's her actual name, Cassie or whatever. You fantasize about AOC. Are you broken, sick troll? You don't think you are, but you're no different than the next guy who might be ogling her photoshopped face, right? This is more standard. This is a male feminist lowlife, that one. So he's going to paint you as being, subhuman, but he's the one special guy because his feminist overlords says so.
It seems like the government definitely has to get involved. And so
No. The government keep their hands out of this. Men are allowed to have fantasies. Rule 34 on the internet's been going on since the internet. And it's always been legal. So keep your paws out of this.
hopefully this will pass. Before we continue with the story.
No, I don't give a heck about let's get into it. Oh, here's another pretty face, right? Let's see what she has to say. No doubt, nothing good.
Creating all kinds of problems that nobody asked for, but everyone foresaw, right? AI came into being faster than any of us can wrap our heads around, but it's not like we didn't see it coming. It's not like we didn't have time to at least be somewhat proactive against it rather than entirely reactive.
Yeah, you always saw it coming, but you didn't give a shit until, your special little OAC girl got caught. Now it's an issue. Skip ahead. Yeah, skip ahead of her because she has nothing to say.
And look, by the way, as we said, the sort of apps that can produce this stuff are becoming more common, easier to get. And as Yaz says, once this stuff is out there, you can't totally stop it. And I 100% agree. There's not going to be a law that you can pass that stops the entirety of these sorts of things being produced.
Amen. And you know something? I hope when they pass this disgusting anti-male law, that the guys have the same effect as YouTube does. That is the same attitude they had towards YouTube when they tried to force their ads down their throat. When YouTube tried to force their ads down their throats, the average person fought hard to find alternatives to skip by them, right? And I hope they do the exact same thing. I hope when AOC shoves this disgusting legislation through, that the entire platforms everywhere get flooded with her fake, deep fake image.
Look, fundamentally, people have been producing things like this with stuff like Photoshop for a very long time. What you want to do is stop at least some of it. Perhaps the websites that host and distribute this stuff that make it far easier for people to find. If some random person wants to produce an image like that, then they're probably almost certainly going to be able to do it. But a lot more people can just access this stuff. If there's no way on social media to shut down,
then you shouldn't be even bothering with this legislation, right? The simple fact is, if you've got some guy on a minimum wage job or on welfare, and he's producing these images, suing him isn't going to do anything. It's like squeezing blood out of a rock. I hope it just spurs him on to keep doing it. So that makes me happy.
Down the big accounts that spread it. If there's no way to shut down the websites that are hosting it, or websites that are hosting the technology of the apps to make it. So you're never going to stop all of it, but there are perhaps some high level ones where you can at least do something, at least put a little bit of fear in the people spreading it, that there could be financial consequences at the very least for doing so.
We're going to have to jail the poor guys, which since you aren't, I'm like, yes. Because poor guys, you can't do anything by suing them, right? And by the way, everyone, these scumbags have been working to stop guys like Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson from suing their detractors. But their detractors are doing them real harm. You know, Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson, their careers were put on hold. They were losing money hand over fist. This AOC dipstick, Ocasio, she's not losing her career or credibility. She's ruining her own credibility, right? She's already having people look badly at her, right? Has her own political stances damage her. But these photoshopped images, they don't hurt her career. She hasn't lost anything over it. So this isn't about suing people for reputation. This is simply from stopping guys from doing something as harmless as ogling a picture of her. Guys, how many pinups did we have in my day? You know, if we would buy a picture or photograph of a female celebrity in a bikini and put it up on our wall to ogle. That's all that's going on here.
And so again, I don't know exactly what will be in this. We'll see. I hope it doesn't seem like the right wing can oppose this, but it is.
She just got through saying both the Democrats and the Republicans were supporting her. So why are you going on about the right wing?
Tied to the Violence Against Women Act, and they typically have not been hugely supportive of that sort of legislation. So,
but it's nice to know that some people aren't hugely supportive of sexism and injustice. That's what the Violence Against Women Act is. It's attack on men. By the way, these scumbags, they don't care about, Me Too destroying men's reputations. But now, OAC might have to be embarrassed because someone photoshopped her face in a sex act.
Buckle up. But I do want to mention a couple of other aspects sort of floating around this topic. So one has to do with one of the favored platforms for this sort of content. There's the AI image generation platform 34'd AI, which has what it calls the bounties feature, which encouraged users to create deepfakes in exchange for virtual rewards. Almost all of the bounties created were of women, according.
Yeah, exactly. You know why? Because men fantasize about women. So this isn't hurting their reputations. Just man says, look, I want an image of my favorite female celebrity in a sex act. I want to wank off to that. That's all that's going on here. This is harmless.
In reporting, some included women who weren't celebrities or public figures either, but rather private citizens. So the idea is you can sort of like request that specific ones be made in exchange for some digital reward or something. That's the sort of thing that potentially you could shut down. You can't shut down a single person making a thing like this, but maybe.
But you would try. You would make it illegal for men fantasizing. If these monsters had their way, they would lobotomize men so they couldn't think.
And by the way, we also want to point out that, look, some people, even me, maybe in my prior coverage of this, have talked about how some of this technology, particularly the AI chatbots and stuff, might have some positive effects on people being able to talk to people, not people, but bots, or work through things.
Okay, so this asshole is pushing therapy for guys. Oh, you've got issues. Society's treating you like garbage because you were born male. Here's some of this fake therapy for you. So that's what he's pushing.
But there's also some research indicating that the rise of so-called AI girlfriends, these chatbots designed to be like.
Here we go again. So anything that would be positive to men, that give you release, that can't happen. Now we're not talking about AOC and actual real women or celebrities. They're just talking about AI girlfriends, period. Right?
like romantic or sexual partners, could make incels even more dangerous. They say that this
there's the threat narrative that won't die. Right. This guy speaking is an incel. I could tell by looking at him. Buddy, you're not getting any. You're getting no action. You're an incel. So you must be dangerous according to yourself. Right. That's what it is. These lonely guys that we hate, that these powerless men, we got to demonize them and abuse them even more. That's what's going on here. Has nothing to do, by the way, with this AOC woman, right?
tech allows them to form and control their perceptions of a so-called ideal woman, who they can change in real time, by the way. That may lead to a danger of them pushing those perceptions on real women.
Bullshit. Bullshit. These people are worried about the opposite. If they make an ideal woman in a bot, real women are just going to look worse to them. They're not going to push anything onto them. So this is a bold-faced lie this guy's pushing to stop men from having AI girlfriends, right? These people hate men and want them grinding forever, going after people who hate their guts. I've heard it more than once. Guys say 2D is better than 3D, and that's what their big worry is. That some guys will opt out.
Okay. And so when they find themselves unable to do so, or when a woman seems unattainable, like in the case of Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, targets of deepfakes, incels begin deepfake campaigns. So,
well, I could see Gomez, but Swift, lol.
So technology sometimes seems like it might be the solution, and maybe in some areas it is, but it can also just cause more problems sometimes.
Yeah. So the technology that allows that disgusting criminal Me Too hashtag that just destroyed all kinds of men, that was all right. But now some low-level guy ogling Ocasio or whatever her name is, that's beyond the pale. These people, these feminists are complete subhumans. What lizard-brained lowlives. Anyway, you know what my opinion is on this. Let's leave it here.